In this class, we focus on stretching the quads and the hip flexors. This will release tension in the low back, around the hips, and possibly the knees. Even if you don't have any tension that needs to be released, this will prevent further problems to happen in the future. Or also, one more tip, when you stretch your hip flexors, it's very, very calming for the nervous system, because one of the hip flexors is called your psoas, is part of your sympathetic nervous system and one of the first responders. So whenever we experience any form of stress, this muscle gets tight and can pull on our low back. So let's release all this. Even though the practice itself will not be as easy, after class, or at least tomorrow, you're gonna feel a lot more relaxed all the way through. Let's do it. Tuck your toes under and slowly shift your weight back and see if you can sit on your heels. For some of you, the journey ends here. Just test if bringing all your weight over your heels is in agreement with your toes. Specifically, the big toe could be a problem. So again, other choice, hand out in front of you to remove the weight if it's too intense. So now you're gonna need your 2 blocks. Everyone, because now the blocks are here to make our life harder. Shouldn't say that out loud, huh? So put 2 blocks on top of each other. If during this practice you notice, ooh, this is too much, just remove 1 block. So here you want to come in close enough that when your foot is on the block, that you are able to completely close your knee joint. You also get a little extra stretch here for your calves on this one. And the top of your back foot here can be down. So I'm gonna go a little further away. So, but first, let's create some awareness and stability for our joints before we lengthen the muscles. Hands onto your front knee. Take a breath through your nose. Push the back foot, your left foot, into the floor. Engage your muscles around your hips and exhale, belly in. All right, so now start sinking. It's like you want to move your right sitting bone towards your right heel and close the knee joint as much as you can. Keep that. Now push your right foot into the blocks to lift your chest up higher. Good. So now the more you curl back, the more the back leg has to work in order to give you stability. This in itself is pretty intense already. If you want to add more, bring your hands to the back of your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, curl back more. Do a few rounds. And as I said before, listen to your body to find your boundary. I have a hard time speaking in this one. And slowly come on back out. Hands onto your front knee and just shift your hip back. I like this one a lot because there is almost no way not to tone your muscles in this posture, specifically your glutes, which will protect the hip flexors while we are stretching them. So with your hips slightly back, just bring your right hand to your hip, lift your chest up, and rotate your torso a little bit to the right. Inhale back, come back out. So there is no fancy transition for that one. Just move the blocks to the other side and left leg up. Again, measure your distance so that you can close your left knee joint. Just don't do it right away. We'll do it with finesse. All right, so your right toenails, all 5 of them, click into the ground. Firm the quads by isometrically dragging your right knee forward. You will see I always give on the second side a little bit more detail. See if you can follow. If it becomes too much, firm your legs and breathe, and you'll be doing just fine. So here we are. The knee pulls forward, and then tighten your muscles. It almost feels like courgette. They almost look like it too. Every time you exhale, get tighter so that your core is firm. Sink deeper into your front knee. So right hand to your hip. Push your left foot into the blocks to lift your chest up higher. Curl back. If you want to go a little deeper, place both hands onto your hips. Again, one more detail if you want. Push your flesh of your buttocks down and lift your chest up. This will create space in your low back specifically and allow you to curl back a little bit more. Inhale, use your strength to slowly come on up. Hands onto your front knee. Shift your weight back a little bit. Rotate your torso towards your left. Left hand onto your hip. On an inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. On an exhale, twist a little deeper. Next inhale, come on back out and take your knees off the blocks, your feet off the blocks. Straighten your legs in downward facing dog. Once again, lift your kneecaps up. So here we are at the wall. Move your right knee towards the wall. Again, if you have sensitive knees, put something extra underneath. So that's one problem you don't have to deal with. So the closer the knee is to the wall, the more intense the quad stretch will be. Yeah, so you can move the knee a tiny bit further back. But again, if it's too far back, then it's going to hurt your foot. If that's the case, you can curl your toes under. The next variation will have that foot variation anyway. So now that you have your choices, place your knee. Take your left leg in front of you. And you want to have your heel right behind the center of your butt. Yeah, so the center of your gluteus, or maybe even slightly to the outside like you just did in Virasana, that's fine. Place both hands onto your front knee, lean slightly forward. Push your right foot into the wall and drag your right knee forward so the quads are firm. When you draw your right knee forward, it's almost automatically, the seesaw action will take your right hip further back. Then start lifting your torso. So the more you start lifting your torso and move the torso back, you will also add the hip flexor, especially the one that crosses the knee and the hip joint. Bring your hands to your hips. So this is not going to be easy, and also be careful. Move your tip of your tailbone forward and lift your low belly. And it's almost like you want to move your kidneys towards the wall behind you. Reach your right arm up. Let the thumb face towards the back and touch the wall with your thumb. Maybe you can put the back of your hand against the wall. Good. As you scoop your tailbone again, your head can go back. Your shoulder can go back. It's a very intense stretch for your quads. So again, don't let your overambitious mind let you do something that you will regret later. So really listen to these muscles on how far you should move your torso back. Also, if you move too fast or too deep, then you will feel tension in your low back. Back off a little bit. Place both hands onto your front knee. Lean slowly forward so your low back can adjust. And let's change sides. This pose has the glorious name, Screaming Pigeon. Now we know why. So, same again. Left foot against the wall. Click all 5 toenails into the wall. Lift your torso up, but stay still slightly lean forward. Then drag your left knee forward. This will move the top of your left thigh back. Firm your glutes. And as you, tuck your tailbone is a thing you hear a lot. So you move the tip of the tailbone forward. Low belly rises. And you want to move your kidneys towards the wall. They won't probably touch, but that's the direction. Reach your left arm up, thumb against the wall if it can get there. Head if it can get there. Shoulders, back of your hand. Remember, if there's tension in the low back or your quads feel like they're about to rip apart, lean slightly forward. Let them lengthen at the pace or at their own pace, not what your mind thinks. And slowly release, lean forward, both hands down. So here you can do downward facing dog with your heels against the baseboard. Feels quite nice. Just to straighten your legs for a moment, lift your kneecaps. Move your feet as wide as your mat apart from each other and hold on to your elbows. And slowly move your knees from side to side. Again, some muscle tone to guide the move. You don't want to just flop back and forth. And keep your feet as wide as the mat apart from each other. Let your knees drop into each other. And just place your hands somewhere around your belly, closer to your heart. Straighten out your legs. Bring your arms to the side. Time to relax.